Okay, please take a comfortable seat and we'll settle in for our practice time together. You can rest your hands in your lap. Invite your eyes to close. We have the joy and the nourishment of coming together for our practice. I too am nourished by you being here, by your presence here. So I want to encourage you to sit this morning in this meditation and to sense yourself and your presence here actually as a source of joy and nourishment for others. The fact that you're here is contributing to their nourishment as well as to mine. Your presence here, your commitment here is contributing to the joy that others can experience as we practice together. You're also contributing to my inner experience of joy. So rather than simply sensing what you're receiving from being here, I'm encouraging you to sense that your presence is a contribution here. And as you rest with that offering from me for you to sense that, let your breath now help to sort of expand that felt sense in your body. Even if you came feeling disheveled or distracted or maybe depressed, if you came feeling anxious or overwhelmed, however you showed up, you happen to be here. So let your breath expand the sense of your presence here is nourishing for others, is also a source of joy for others. Just by you being here, that your shared practice contributes this. And as your breathing helps to expand that inner felt sense, that your contribution is simply by you showing up already a nourishment for others. Let that expansion also sort of dissipate the things that maybe you came with that wouldn't be so helpful for your practice time, like the part of your mind that plans the future or is reviewing the past. So as you expand this inner felt sense, there's less and less room for what I call the riffraff of the mind. I sometimes call those things the dust bunnies of the mind. Like dust bunnies in the house. Sometimes you don't realize how many there are until you actually sweep the floor and you think, oh my God, I have a whole dustpan of dust bunnies. So those things have less space when you expand this inner felt sense. And please bring your hands to your heart in Anjali Mudra. Now perhaps you also came with a personal intention for your practice this morning. And you can imagine that you're placing that intention in the centers of your palms. And that as we chant, that intention is infused with the vibration of the sound. And may your intention then flow forward into your practice. We'll chant Sahana Vavatu. Let's begin. Om Sahana Vavatu. Sahana Bhunaktu. Savidyam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidveshavai Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Savidyam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidveshavai Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Savidyam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidveshavai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart and release your hands. Please open your eyes. We are going to do excuse me, I know that's noisy, sorry. I have a really good microphone, so that noise, sorry about that. We're going to do a pranayama practice that I can see that there are a few people who are with us this morning who have not been able to join in the last week or so. And so this pranayama may not be so familiar to you. I'm going to ask you to follow along to the best of your ability. I'll give the infrastructure of the instructions, and then those who are more familiar, they can practice at their pace, and those who need the infrastructure of the instructions, please listen up for those. Okay, so my intention is to bring us to a place where we can practice the exhale pause, the place of silence and stillness. Let's blow our noses, please. Just in case. Okay. And then attention's going to be here at the solar plexus. Okay, so we start with bhastrika, several strong exhalations, up to 30 for those who are doing this for the first time, beyond 30 for those who can do. Then we'll have inhale suspension, and we'll have that 3 times. Okay, let's begin. exhale completely. Now inhale through both nostrils. Breathe from the lower belly, mid-torso, then up into your heart and your collarbones. Suspend the inhale. Those of you who are new to this suspension, please snug the low belly in and up, and the chin slightly down and in. Now we release that snugness and exhale completely through both nostrils. Then inhale, lower, middle, and upper, back up to suspension. Close the right nostril, exhale left side only. Exhale with strength. Inhale both nostrils up to suspension. Close the left, exhale right with strength. Deeply relax. Repeating that, little sip of an inhale to start. Exhale. Inhale through the nose, lower, middle, upper, into suspension of the inhalation. Release the bandhas and exhale through both nostrils, long and steady. Complete the exhale using the low abdomen, momentary pause, and then inhale smoothly back up to suspension. Close the right, exhale left with strength. Inhale through both nostrils. Close the left, exhale right with strength. Deeply relax. Soften the skin of the outer body. Invite your muscles to relax for the internal support of the central channel and your spine. Let that be enough. These are called Kriyas. Kriya means a cleansing practice. Now we're going to do one of the Kriyas from yesterday, where we inhale up like a cow pose spine, and we exhale like a cat pose spine. And the amount of movement that you have is going to be based on your flexibility. When you go up to cow pose, it's natural to pull the elbows back and lift up. When you go down to cow pose, you might find your hands sliding out over your knees. And so there may be some movement for the shoulders as well as the spine. This is an inhale and exhale through the nose that are both brisk, and they both make noise. So like that. Okay, let's begin. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now inhale while upright. Inhale completely, exhale completely. And then inhale lower, middle, upper into suspension. And then exhale all the way out through both nostrils. Exhaling, exhaling, toning the lower belly. Inhale up to suspension. Close the right nostril. Exhale left side. Inhale up to suspension. Close the left. Exhale right. And deeply relax. And keep the central channel, which is called Sushumna Nadi, and also your spine. You can keep those sort of upright and clear, and relax everything surrounding that inner channel. One more Kriya. So place your hands on your shoulders. This is a rapid exhale out through the nose. And sometimes you find your glasses get disheveled. So you could take them off if you want to. So this is briskly through the nose, side to side. Let's begin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come to center. Then inhale up to suspension. Use the bandhas during your suspension. Now close the right nostril. Exhale left side. Inhale left. Suspend. Close the left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close the right. Exhale left. And then deeply relax. Invite your mind to be really still. And for your heart to sense your innate interconnectedness, your innate interdependence with everything that is, which also means that life is depending upon you as well. In fact, both in the very real sense of our human living and also all of the plants, the animals, and the ecology, everything is dependent upon how we act and how we live. Now please interlace your fingers and inhale the heels of your hands forward and up. Raise your heart and your gaze. And exhale, open the arms and twist to your right. Keeping your twist to the right, inhale, only your head to the left. Exhale, rotate back to the right. Inhale, rise up, hands clasped. Exhale, open wide and twist left. Rotate only your head to the right as you inhale. Exhale, rotate to your left. Inhale, clasp your hands, rise up. Exhale, arms wide. And at the bottom of your exhale, interlace your fingers at the small of your back. Roll your shoulders back. Raise your arms back. And then inhale, lift your chest and your heart and your throat. And now exhale and bow forward from your seat, whatever you're able to bow forward as. And then inhale, rise up. And let's exhale, hands to the heart. We'll be transitioning to an asana practice, so listen for the influence right now of just this part of your practice, the pranayama and the kriyas. Tejasvinavaditamastu. So may our practice help us to overcome tamas, which is darkness or heaviness. May it help us to feel that which is luminous or wise or loving. Maybe not succumb to impatience or animosity with ourselves or each other. Release your hands and please rise up to standing. We're going to use the standing poses this morning in Surya Namaskar. That means sun salutation. Surya is sun. Namaskar means to salute or to honor. So I'd like you to have 2 blocks. For those of you who know that your hamstrings benefit from 4 blocks, go ahead and set that up for yourself. Let me just get this established now so I won't be fiddling with it. Something is happening. One more effort. Okay, one more effort, tiny effort. All right, let's try that. Yeah. Okay. So 2 blocks at the front of your mat, unless you know that your hamstrings benefit from more than 2 blocks, then you can place those. This is for yoga poses like trikonasana, parsvakonasana, parsvakonasana, trikonasana, ardha chandrasana. We have a little Sanskrit lesson there. Okay. Join your hands, please. Now, as you come into mountain pose, let's practice focus in the eyes with like the half eyelids when you're gazing down. Gaze past your fingertips towards something on the floor that you can return your gaze to when you come back to mountain pose. Place the tip of your tongue behind the top 2 teeth and hollow the back of the throat. So your ujjayi sound, you're going to hear that with the inner ear. As you gaze forward and listen inwardly, let them both be places to stabilize your mind. Exhale completely. Energize your legs, your pelvis, your spine, and then inhale, ujjayi, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, chair pose. You may keep a consistent gazing point. Inhale, rise up, virabhadrasana. And then exhale and bow forward, uttanasana, and shift your gaze to a place at the back edge of your yoga mat. Inhale, glide forward, gaze down between your big toes. Exhale, bow to uttanasana. Move your gaze smoothly back to the point at the back edge of your yoga mat. Inhale, rise up, virabhadrasana, returning your gaze to the point that's on the floor in front of you. And then exhale, hands to your heart. And the hands will pass down through your vision field, but you'll still have your gaze steady right there. Inhale, keeping a consistent gaze, rise up. Exhale, chair pose. This time try gazing down between your big toes. See if it helps your neck alignment a little bit more. Then inhale, rise up, virabhadrasana with your gaze, finding that spot on the floor in front of you. And exhale, uttanasana, gaze back past the toes towards the back edge of your yoga mat. Inhale, glide forward, but gaze between your big toes. Exhale, left foot back, gazing at the back edge of your mat. Inhale, rise up, gazing forward on the floor, where you gaze during virabhadrasana. Allow yourself to have several long, smooth breath cycles now. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do. I like to say just abiding in the pose. And keep the ujjayi smooth, so there's a little pause at the top of your inhale, at the bottom of your exhale, and your inner ear is going to hear that as a moment of silence. With your next exhale, lower your arms down and sweep the left arm back to virabhadrasana 2. Transition your legs, and then calmly abiding. The phrase for abiding in your essence is Tada drastu svarupe avastanam. So keep the ujjayi steady and smooth, your gaze resting on the point on the floor ahead of you. As your mind takes refuge in those places for concentration, invite your body intelligence to tell you about the small places in your pose that need your attention. For example, you might get a message from the shoulder blades. They don't need to be pinned to your earlobes. You might get a message from the right low belly that you need to tone or lift, and the left inner thigh will respond to that. Or the right inner arch might help you with that. And when you next exhale, start releasing your arms down to the 2 blocks. And as you come to your basic lunge, gaze towards the back of your mat. Inhale, step forward, heart forward, gaze between the toes. And exhale, uttanasana, a complete exhale into the silence of the exhale pause. Inhale, glide forward through your heart, gaze between your toes. Exhale, right toes back, gazing back. Inhale, crescent lunge, find your forward dristhi. So we'll call that the forward dristhi, and we'll call the spot between the toes the middle dristhi, and the one that's at the back of the mat, we'll call that the back dristhi. Allow again for the ujjayi to be captivating, right? It's soothing, smooth, and it's training your mind and your brain to be present. And you may start getting small messages from your body about the places where your physical pose could be kind of refined. Like if you need to lift the left low belly, perhaps you also lift the left inner arch to help with that support. Or maybe your outer left hip reminds you that the left sitting bone is not hula-ing off to the left. Or perhaps you get a message from the upper inner shoulder blades. It's okay to widen the shoulder blades and release them down from the earlobes. Now with an ujjayi exhale, take both arms forward and then right arm down, rotate to virabhadrasana 2, keeping your gaze steady. So these are familiar poses for you right now in this part of the sequence. And that means you can concentrate on the inner experience of your dristhi, your listening, which is called shruti, the breath, as an anchor point. Try relaxing the shoulder blades down from your ears, so the amount of effort you're making is more elegant, more efficient. And check to see if you want to energize your right inner arch or right inner thigh, or if the left low belly might be calling to you. With your next ujjayi exhale, begin releasing your hands and arms down. Transition your gaze towards the back of your mat. Crescent lunge is at the base here. And then inhale, step forward, heart forward, mid-range dristhi between the toes. Exhale, uttanasana, back dristhi. Inhale, rise up, you'll have your forward dristhi. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. That's going to pass down through your field of vision, but keep your eyes steady. Continuing now, inhale, virabhadrasana. The exhale, chair pose, gaze between your big toes. Keeping your gaze down, bring your left hand inside the knees and inhale, twist to your right while you're gazing down. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, right arm down, twist to your left. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise up. Lift your inner arches, inner thighs. Keep your gaze down. Exhale, uttanasana, over two stable legs. Bow deeply and gaze towards the back of your mat. Inhale, glide forward. Lift the base of your skull. Gaze between your toes. Okay, left toes straight back. Gazing back. Inhale, crescent lunge. Gazing forward. Exhale, lower both arms, virabhadrasana 2, left arm sweeps back. Now place your right forearm and reach your left arm past your left ear. I'm going to ask you to explore the back hemisphere of this pose, and to do that, try gazing towards the spot at the back of your yoga mat. Not because you're sticking your butt out behind you, not because the right knee tips in and your head cranes around to see it, but find your parsvakonasana, side angle pose. And then with the tailbone anchored, broaden the back of your waist, your ribs. And as you gaze towards the back of your mat, notice what has to happen for your right inner thigh to stay steady. And then begin to gaze along the floor towards the space that would be between both toes if they were there. And as you keep gazing down, raise your left arm up to the ceiling, twist your heart to the left while your gaze stays down to the right. Press firmly into your right forearm, your right knee, right shin, right heel, right toes. Now place your left hand at the back of your head for support, and begin to rotate your gaze up as if you could see your left elbow. And then keep gazing up and straighten your left arm. And now let's release slowly. Touch your left fingers to the block first, and then your right fingers. Pivot the left heel up behind you, And then please step forward with your left foot, gaze between your toes. Exhale, Uttanasana, gaze at the back edge of your yoga mat. Okay, inhale, glide forward, gaze between your toes. Okay, right toes back, gazing back. Inhale, rise, crescent lunge to the forward dristhi for your eyes. Exhale, both arms down. Keep the right arm moving back, warrior two. And then bring your left forearm down to your left knee or thigh. You can actually start by gazing down towards your right big toe and sweep your right arm past your right ear. Now you set up the basic pose, the one that you've known or have been doing for some time, maybe feels familiar. And then freshen it up this morning. So without your left knee collapsing in, without your butt poking out behind you, gaze towards the back edge of your yoga mat. You're going to gaze past the abdomen, past your right thigh. Notice how this changes your orientation. Energize your left inner thigh. Resist the urge for the left hip to sashay backwards or sidewards. And then start raising your right arm up towards the ceiling. Gaze down next to your left big toe. And with your eyes down, your breath steady, press into your left forearm, left knee, left shin, left heel, left toes. So your twist to the right can be sort of energized by or empowered by this downward strength from your left arm into your left leg. And place your right hand at the back of your head for support as you rotate your gaze to look up towards your right elbow. Draw the chin in slightly so you're not hyperextending your neck. And then slide your right arm out like an arrow, parsvakonasana. Do not forget your left heel, even as you transition right fingertips down, left fingertips down, and inhale, step forward, gaze between your toes. And exhale, deeply bow towards your legs, gaze past the feet to the back of your mat. Inhale, rise up, virabhadrasana. And exhale, hands to your heart. They're going to pass down through the visual field of your eyes. This time then, close your eyes. Close the eyelids, but keep the gaze at that forward dristhi. Now we'll do trikonasana. Okay, so energize your legs. Come back to your ujjayi breath. Inhale, hands down, wide, raise up. Exhale, chair pose, gaze down between your toes. Left arm down. Inhale, twist to your right while gazing down. Press your left arm firmly against your left shin. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, right arm down, press firmly into your right shin, twist to your left. Exhale, chair pose, still gazing down between the toes. Inhale, rise up, gaze forward at that forward dristhi. And then exhale, Uttanasana. Gaze back at the back dristhi. Inhale, glide forward. Gaze at the mid dristhi between the toes. Okay, exhale, left toes back. Gazing back. Inhale, rising up, forward dristhi. Exhale, both arms forward, left arm back, left heel down, warrior two, virabhadrasana two. And now gazing at your right big toe, inhale to parsvakonasana. We were just here a moment back. We're going to repeat so we can add to this into trikonasana. So as you're gazing down at the right big toe, lengthen your left arm and your left leg. In between those two actions, root your tailbone strongly so your right outer hip is like charged with this responsibility to support and sustain. Now raise your left arm up as you keep gazing down. Release your right fingertips to your block or to a couple of blocks. And as you press down firmly through your right leg, keep your gaze steady. Bring your legs to trikonasana, triangle pose. Now with the left arm up, please bend your left elbow. Place your hand thoughtfully at the base of your skull for support. Even wrap your fingers around near to your right ear. And then begin to turn your head, cradled by your hand, gaze up towards your left elbow. Now your fingers are probably somewhere near the occipital ridge. Give a little support there. Energize your legs. And while keeping your gaze and your head steady, now sweep your left arm past your left ear, like you would in parsvakonasana, while keeping the legs in trikonasana. Even the right arm is going to be strong here. And then with an exhale, slowly release through parsvakonasana. Bend your right knee, lower your left fingers. And let's inhale, step forward, heart forward, gaze between the toes. And exhale to bow towards your legs. Inhale, glide your heart forward, gaze between your toes. And then right toes back. So this is the base of your crescent lunge. Inhale, rise, come to your forward dristhi. Exhale, both arms forward, lower your right arm, warrior two. Gaze down near your left big toe. Inhale, parsvakonasana. Now while you're gazing down, keep your mind quiet there and let's energize the legs. Invite the right leg to be longer, reach through your right arm. In between those two directions, come into your left outer hip and tone your outer left hip enthusiastically. Then place your left fingertips on your block. Strengthen your left arm. Raise your right arm up towards the ceiling and slowly straighten your left leg. So this for the moment is trikonasana while you're gazing down, even though your chest is rotating up. So bend your right elbow and place your right hand near the back of your head, perhaps even near your left ear. Don't push down on your head, please. Lift the base of your skull into your hand. And then as you're rotating, provide support for your head. Gaze up towards your right elbow. Let's energize the legs. Be enthusiastic. And then sweep your right arm past your right ear while your eyes are steady. Listen for all the ways in your body in which an opening wants to occur. And slowly moving through your right arm first, then bend your left knee, transition down through parsvakonasana, and then step forward, please. Gaze between your toes. And exhale for a deep bow to your legs. Gaze at the back edge of your yoga mat. Inhale, rise up, virabhadrasana. And exhale, hands to your heart. Your palms will pass down through your field of vision right there. Then close the eyes. Now I'd like you to picture yourself in a few moments moving through ardha chandrasana. In English, that's half moon pose. Picture yourself doing that with grace and strength. Remind yourself that the kind of concentration, the word is dharana, the concentration that you're cultivating leads to dhyana, leads to a kind of meditative absorption. So the need for concentration is not a sign that you're not somehow progressed enough in yoga. It is one of the essential skills that you're building. It's the sixth, I had to count, the sixth limb of the 8 limbs of yoga. Okay, let's do ardha chandrasana together. I'm going to back up so that you'll be able to keep seeing what I do with my hands and feet. So if you'll start so that your left foot is back and your right foot is forward. When my blocks go forward, you'll still be able to see me for the most part. So let's come to the fingertips and gaze down as if you had your 2 feet still on the mat. Gaze at the spot between where they would be. And then take your left block and your right block both forward so that you have this equilateral triangle between your right foot and both hands. And for me, that means that I'm going to put my block on the right off of the yoga mat. Okay, ujjayi, inhale, float forward onto your right leg. Keep your gaze down at the spot where if you had 2 feet on the floor, you'd be gazing between the toes. Keep gazing down as you start to stack your pelvis over your right thigh. Energize your right leg muscles. Check and see if the right inner arch might need to help the right inner thigh, to help the right low belly. And now try gazing towards the back edge of your yoga mat. And see if that doesn't help you to broaden the back of your waist a little bit. So when you're gazing back, can you make the left leg longer from the back of your sacrum to the back of your heel? Now begin to raise your left arm up. Return your gaze so it's near to the toes, where you'd have if both feet were still on the floor. And keep the ujjayi steady. Your back waist broad. Now try taking your left arm past your left ear like you did in parsvakonasana. And keeping the right leg filled with stamina and grace. Now bend your left elbow. Place your hand at the base of your skull and guide yourself slowly to turn your gaze up towards your left elbow. And then raise your left arm. Ardha chandrasana while gazing up to the best of your ability. Do not forget your right outer hip. And you're going to slowly keep the right leg very steady as you lower your left fingertips down to the block. Bend your right knee and gaze back at the back of your mat as you touch the left toes really lightly down. Walk your blocks back and step forward, Uttanasana. Notice how grateful your right leg is that you are enthusiastic about it. Okay, and then take your right toes and step them back. Let's take the equilateral triangle again with the two blocks. So your left block goes forward and left, the right block goes forward and right. It's possible your left block is off of your yoga mat to the left. Okay, inhale, float forward. Now as you balance on your left leg, gaze down to the spot where both toes would have had a center point. And stack your hips over your left thigh. Gaze back along the back of your mat and see if you might be able to lengthen from your right kidney even up into the small of your back, into your right outer hip and into your right heel. Okay, let's make the left leg very steady as you pick up your right arm to go into ardha chandrasana. Gaze down between where the toes would have been together. And sweep your right arm past your right ear. Notice all this concentration and action together. And you can bend your right elbow and place your hand at the base of your skull. Give a little guidance for rotating your gaze to your right. Then you may raise your right arm back up so you have your ardha chandrasana. Do not forget your left outer hip and the strength of your left arm. Now keeping your left leg steady, right leg steady, start draping your right fingertips back down to your block. And then bend your left knee and gently take your right toes back, gaze at the back edge of your mat. And now both blocks can be firmly placed. You can step backwards into downward facing dog pose. When you get to this dog pose, enjoy it. Be enthusiastic. Reach the length of your spine up towards your hips and your sacrum. Turn the inner armpits up toward the ceiling so the outer triceps are coming in towards your nose. Take about 3 more breath cycles right there. Good. Now with all of that concentration, please touch your knees down lightly. Separate your knees and come into child's pose. And I'm going to ask you to place your palms face up, put one block for your head, and for this child's pose, lay your elbows down somewhere in line with your knees, palms up. It's called pranayama, means to make an offering from the heart. And then please walk your hands back towards your knees and press up to kneeling. Okay, now we're going to work with the upper back for a bit. And so I'd like you to take 2 blankets, please, and bring them onto your mat. So nice job with the standing poses. Let's open up the blanket like this and then fold it length to length in half twice. For those of you who have a foam roller, you could also use your foam roller. Sometimes the foam roller is too thick or too firm for this, but you can decide. And I'm going to show you as a profile view. So my blankets are going to be just off my mat here. I washed my other mats and then I didn't pay attention when they were dry and I left them out overnight so they soaked up moisture. Okay, so you're going to want a block close by to use for your head. And so please lie on your back so that you have your shoulder blades directly on this set of blankets. The block you're going to need in a short bit, but you don't need it right now. Watch out for hair ties, hair clips, and so on. Okay, now let's take the left arm up towards the ceiling, bend your left elbow, and place your left hand under your left shoulder blade to the best of your ability, right? So maybe you only have the fingers trying to go under the shoulder blade. And then take your right hand to hold your left elbow. And I'd like it to be such that your arms are actually bracing your head. So your head is not left dangling behind you. As you lean back a little bit over the blankets, let your rib cage, the floating ribs, melt down towards your belly button. While the collarbones and your left arm and shoulder, they can elongate up over the blanket. So again, I'll say, I don't want your floating ribs coming with you. The floating ribs are actually going down towards your abdomen. And then curl yourself up. You can gaze forward. Now take the right hand overhead and put your right fingers underneath your right shoulder blade. Reach across with your left hand to hold your right elbow. And I do want you to be bracing your head, so your head might be held partly by your right forearm or your left forearm or both. And again, invite the upper back and the right shoulder girdle to open here. Okay, and then release and bring yourself up to sitting where you can watch me for a moment. Okay, so I'm going to put this block so it's here for my head. The place I'd like you to be now, let me turn that. You're going to lie on your right side, and I'll put this block between my knees, which I recommend for anybody who has a hip replacement or who has hips, which means all of you. So what you're doing here, I do want this pressure from the blanket to be on the side of your rib cage. And so your right arm, when it comes down, is going to be like the upper arm is right here, and the forearm might be able to reach the floor. Maybe, maybe not. Right? And in this position, we're actually going to place the hand again at the right shoulder blade, so that when you're going to roll onto your rib cage, you're going to be massaging some of the muscles at the base of the shoulder blade, the rotator cuff, the ribs, the armpit. And we're going to do that a few times. So this part you can join me with right now. This is your little massage. It may not feel little to some of you because I know there's some tender spots in there. One of the things that we need is a flexible, supple thoracic spine and rib cage so that we can explore what's called exhale suspension. So this is a practice of massaging this region so that you're going to have an easier time with the breath. Now I'll ask you to bring that to a close and to rest your head on this beautiful Flintstones pillow. That's what I call it because it's a block. And then the right arm is like this in cactus pose. You raise the left arm up and begin twisting to your left. Do not take your knees with you. the right shoulder and right forearm positioned. In fact, you can press your right forearm down against the floor. Allow your head to rotate. Be responsible for your left arm. It does not need to reach the ground. It probably won't. But as you press the back of your right forearm down and you keep your left knee stable, you're asking for this opening to be in the chest, the heart, and the thoracic spine. Keep the pressure of your right forearm down against the floor, please. Release any sense of mental grasping in the pose. We don't know how far you'll turn. Or unwinding something in the body, not measuring the distance to which you can go. And start to raise your left arm back up and release. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. So to do the other side, I will spin myself about. You can just roll over from where you are because that's easier for you. You might want to, for a moment, just come up to sitting and see like, okay, what is this like to have remodeled the upper back and right shoulder and even the sides of your neck. Okay. So again, you have two blankets. You have a block for your head, a block for your knees. So lie with your left rib cage on the blankets. And it's really the left upper rib cage. So it's right there. You've got your armpit and your upper arm. Take the left hand to hold your left shoulder blade, and let's give that little massage a few times. So you are rolling on the rib cage. And you are smiling at it. Maybe there's some tender spots there. Maybe you don't have a lot of tenderness there, but that myofascial region will benefit from some circulation and some pressure. And then I'd like you to position yourself so that when you're on the block with your head, your Flintstones pillow, you've got the left arm in cactus pose like this, and that you can press the back of your arm down. Keep your right knee stacked, please, on your left, and raise the right arm up. And say hi to each other. I know you don't all have your video cameras on, but you can say hi like that. And then let's begin to rotate. No sense of urgency, right? More a sense of elegance than urgency. Press the back of your left forearm down against the floor. Left shoulder back towards the floor. And be honest with your body about the rotation that your body can do. So that as you're pressing the left forearm down, rotating your rib cage to the right, just feel into the inner experience you are having, not the one you think you're supposed to be having. And then raise your right arm back up. And since we're on the second side here, let's take a moment to do this, please. Place the block between your knees on the floor. Roll onto your back so your shoulder blades are on the two blankets. If possible, put the block, the Flintstones pillow, under your head on the flat setting. And take both arms down to cactus pose. Now it's possible that your arms don't reach the floor. My forearms do touch the floor. It's possible that yours won't. You could take the arms out to a T shape And make an effort for the back of the shoulders to just press down off the back side of the blanket. And there are some of you who can put the Flintstones pillow aside and lay back into a little back bend. And some of you will do that and you'll have the arms in cactus pose. And you will not be exploiting the floating ribs. We all have different capacities here. That doesn't mean that one of us is better at yoga than another. And I'm going to ask you to please release from your position and watch me here, because I'm going to talk something through that involves the low belly and the abdomen. And I don't know how great my camera is for you to see. There should be a hollowing that's going to happen under the rib cage here. So we are going to use this back bend position. It is helpful if you put the head back up to the medium height. I should say that first on. So what you're going to see is an inhale in the low belly, inhale to the mid belly, inhale to the heart. Then I'll exhale from the low belly, exhale mid belly. Parts of the chest muscles will also exhale. At the end of the exhale, I'm going to relax the belly muscles. And then without inhaling, I'm going to make a pretend inhalation. There should be a hollowing that happens along the rib cage here. So I'll do it one time so you can see it. I'll have to be silent when I'm doing it because I can't talk and do it at the same time. So here's the inhale. What you see there is at the end of the exhale vacuum, when that suspension is happening, you have to then release the bandhas. You have to use abdominal muscles to release the bandhas before you inhale, otherwise you'll be gasping. Okay, so can we try this together a couple times? It's going to take us to Shavasana. It's also going to take us to, what was that song? Puff the Magic Dragon. It's going to take us to the land over the sea, or I can't remember the lyrics now. In other words, it's going to take you to this place. Exhale suspension has this sort of magical quality to bring the mind to the mystical. Okay, so let's try. I will vocalize now what I'm doing. It means I won't do it completely. I'll vocalize so you can hear the steps. Okay, so beginning with inhale through the nose, lower third, middle third, upper third. Make the upper third of the inhale as full as you can. Tiny pause. And then exhale from the base of the pelvis, base of the belly. Your exhale, take your time, don't rush it. You're going to exhale from the mid-abdomen, upper abdomen. You'll exhale from the upper chest. Relax all the exhale muscles without inhaling. Then make a pretend inhalation where you'll vacuum the inner body, suctioning the bandhas. Then you have to release the bandhas using your abdominal muscles before you inhale. Inhale, and then rest a moment. And we'll try the sequence another time. Let's begin when you're ready, so you're not going to be breathless. And we'll do it one more time. So as you get accustomed to it, the inhale that comes after the exhale suspension is really smooth, and everything becomes like smooth and glassy like the surface of the water when it's reflecting the sky. So one more time, inhale first, middle, upper third as a smooth inhalation up to the top. Tiny suspension there. And then exhale, lower abdomen, mid-abdomen, and you're going to exhale partially from the upper chest. You squeeze the breath out, and then you must relax all of those abdominal muscles without inhaling. Make a pretend inhalation. Release the bandhas in your ideal timing, and then inhale smoothly. Now it's possible that the support you need under your head in this backbend has changed. You're welcome to check that to see. That might be possible because you are massaging the structures of the inner body, and some of those are tied into why it's difficult for you to have thoracic flexibility. Okay, so please now spin yourself about to Shavasana. Since we have it available, let's do our Shavasana with the blanket under the knees and the blocks under your feet, and relax really deeply. It's such a special opportunity for me to teach these more complicated pranayamas. So I do thank you for your concentration and your attention. And rest so that your Shavasana is a place of integrating the commitment you've made over the last hour and a half. Yeah, allow yourself to rest deeply. Exhale suspension it's a massage for the psoas, for the internal organs of the abdomen. It moves, when you get a sense of it, it moves up into the rib cage underneath. It's helping the diaphragm with some of those adhesions we might have from stress or posture or daily life. It also massages into myofascial regions connecting the heart, the lungs, cervical spine. It also has a physiological influence on your blood pressure, your brain chemistry. It can help to improve digestion and respiration. So let your body take it in, the medicine of what you were just exploring. So allow your body to rest really deeply. Allow that rest for 1 more minute. Don't let anything steal away the rest. Let the mind also rest very deeply. Let the magic happen, I like to say. And without any disruption or unnecessary activation, transition from resting, please, into meditation. I want to give you the opportunity to feel the potency of your dedication. So come up to sit. There is the possibility of a profound mental quiet. This inner quiet is something magnetically asking us to come home all the time. So for the last few moments that we share, let's imagine the inner quiet that is within you is also within each other person who is here. And it's not held by the skin suit that you live in. This grace is in everything and everyone. As you bring your hands together at your heart, just try to sense not only is this inner grace or quiet wanting to come through you and wanting you to come back home to it, it's also in a way our duty right now to see this in others, to live it, to express it, but to see it in others. Even though they can't see it, sometimes they cannot see it. So we'll close with Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's sing it together. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. For anyone wanting more instruction, a couple classes back, we were doing a practice to get ready for exhale suspension as well. It's Friday, November 20th, the noontime class can be helpful to you as a stepping stone to some of this information. Now, may I get to discover how are you feeling and what is the influence of your practice? And hand gestures are lovely.